Hello there, math fans. Going to continue my little geometry of baseball part two. This is just a thing I've noticed, sort of an outfield grass optical illusion. This is going to be a short video. I know I always say that, but I actually think I might be true this time. This is the outfield grass right here. It's just something I've noticed when I look online at various visuals people make, and I was in the process of making a visual myself. Here's T-Mobile Park. Here's where we often sit in the left field bleachers. I went to the first game ever. At the time, it was Safeco Field, so it's hard for me to call it T-Mobile Park. But just gonna talk about it a little bit here. I was making a model of it, and here's my model. And I did some dimension stuff to try to make it somewhat accurate. So, because I wanted to do a few baseball things. And I was like, okay, here's the outfield fence. And I made several circles centered at the origin. I made the origin home plate. And I was like, all's good. So then I did a Google Map here version of this. And I was like, that looks pretty good. And then I plopped it into Desmos, something I've been enjoying doing. Now, I wasn't surprised that the outfield fence didn't match very well. That was no surprise to me because it's not a circle. What might surprise you is how poorly the infield and the grass line matches. I don't know if you can see that. And you can see my circle actually starts near where the dirt starts. So what goes wrong? It's even worse if you zoom in. I made a little visual of second base. It's not even, the dirt isn't even on second base. So really it looks like that's not, at first glance, it's not a circle at all. It's like a bubble sticking out. And so a lot of diagrams don't tell you this. I know this because for a long time I ran a baseball league, and when we would sometimes make the field, you would notice that the dirt wasn't far enough to do a set. We had to extend the bases from 50 feet to 60 feet. And in doing so, we're like, oh, the dirt doesn't go far enough. And so we had to extend it out. And we're like, but I thought it was a circle. So I've observed this before. So it's kind of an optical illusion because I feel like when I look at this picture and I tilt it around, that it looks like, it kind of looks like it is a circle, but it's more bubbly than one would expect. It turns out it is a circle. It's just the center is not the origin. And if you search online, you will see images that are like mine. Unfortunately, mine's not accurate. So let's remove some of my stuff here. And let's remove my infield grass. And let's remove my outfield grass. And let's see if we can see what's going on. It turns out the center is actually at the center of the mound, or near the center of the mound. That's a different story for us to discuss, but there it is. And you can see that fits really well. Now, interestingly, that circle I just drew was centered at the center of the mound, and it has radius 92. Now, when I search online, it says the radius is supposed to be 95. But it also says that the grass is not officially mandated by the rule book. So fields can have their own version of it. And also my measurements from the picture might be wrong. But it appears to me that the radius is not 95 from the center of the mound at T-Mobile Park. It appears to be slightly smaller. So there you go. There's a couple visuals. I just thought that was sort of interesting when you're designing your field. Also, you can see that it's straight lines along the edges. But I think I'll stop with that because I have some other things I want to say. Just a small note that kind of surprised me when I was looking at T-Mobile Park is that circle, it's kind of bubbly. Now, the only other thing I wanted to say was most of the fields I worked on when I was running a baseball league, we actually were in a pony league, but had similar dimensions to Little League. Little League is a little more rigid about their dimensions because of the Little League World Series that everyone's trying to go to. But you can see on a smaller field, the bubbly nature of the circle is more pronounced In fact, it looks like the picture's wrong, but it's not. It has to be like that in order to accommodate second base. So there you go. So I'm calling that an optical illusion, or at least it was for me. Maybe you already knew that. But a small little note that the circles here are not parallel in a sense. If you talk about this outer circle, which is centered at the origin, this circle is not. It's centered in the center of the mound. Okay, random observation. Hope that's